Very good afternoon to everybody. I'm very happy to be here. Akim has asked me to talk about transformational change. It's a great start because transformational change is absolutely required to mitigate the climate change challenges. And the good news is that as far as mitigation is concerned, we come to know more about where the fundamental transformation is required, and even we have started to catalyze some transformational actions on the ground in some of the key systems. As former President Calderon, who addressed to us yesterday, argued in the new climate economy report, we need fundamental transformations in 3 key economic systems. We need to change the world urban systems, we need to change the world land use system, and we need to change the world energy systems. And one of the key messages from that report is that achieving sustainable growth is possible while addressing climate change challenges. So the growth and climate change mitigation are not either or. If we do it right, we can have both. This is a very positive message from that report. Let me maybe share with you what I see, what's going on in each of those 3 key economic systems the report identified. As for cities, there is increasing recognition of the role played by cities. Here in India, Prime Minister Modi announced 100 Smart Cities initiative, and there are emerging number of sustainable city programs, including ours too, that know how to help mayors or the city managers to design their cities in a much more comprehensive, integrated way so that the city can be more livable in the longer future. As for the land use change, one of the big ticket items is to take the deforestation out of supply chain of global commodity such as palm oil, beef, and soy. As maybe Peter can confirm, production of these commodities are responsible for about 80% of tropical deforestation. We have been working together, as mentioned yesterday, also Unilever, that the Chief Sustainable Officer, to bring all stakeholders together along the entire supply chain, from smallholder farmers to manufacturers to wholesalers and consumers. The third area of key systems we need a transformational change is the energy. And here I see maybe the most advanced area and very good innovative program to support both energy efficiency and renewable energy. For example, that our program in China has helped to leverage more than 1 billion through grant financing to reduce the risk of private sector investment in energy, in utilities, and also through support for the policy framework in renewable energy, which is conducive for low carbon investment. So all in all, we have lots of good examples in those key areas. Our challenge ahead of us is to how to scale up those good examples so that we can have a systemic impact on the ground. A story looks somehow different in adaptation. In some sense, adaptation is more complex than mitigation. It's more complex because adaptation is fundamentally more localized than mitigation. Appropriate adaptation measures are very specific to the geography, to the sector, and to the ecosystem which is being targeted. So when it comes to adaptation, there is not one single price, like the price of carbon in the case of mitigation, which can drive the systemic change. But still, adaptation is so critical for sustainable development. So there is no clear-cut analytical or policy framework for adaptation yet, which in my view is kind of established in case of mitigation. However, just in the experience of the GEF of investing more than 1 billion for the last couple of years in adaptation, I think there may be few factors which could help and critical for solid adaptation response. Let me just briefly mention 4 factors. The first is adequate data and information. It is vital that we produce a best possible mapping of risk exposure and carefully analyze likely options. Recent release of spatial information from NASA, high-resolution spatial data from NASA, can be absolutely helpful. Second, planning and budgeting. We must support governments to assign the cost of various adaptation options. City and state planners need to know where to put a development, where to select the industrial site, and which are the critical natural resources to be conserved, to be protected, and restored. Third, the private sector investment is vital. In order to strengthen the resilience of our economy, it's necessary that private sector factor in the need of adaptation in their decision-making. In recent project in Morocco, for instance, we have helped that the private sector investment in port against the storm flood. The last point, lastly, that we need to strengthen disaster risk preparedness. This involves both improving the public sector, its ability to respond to natural disasters, including budgeting adequately for contingent liability, but also insurance companies have to be increasingly prepared to take the fair share of the cost of climate-related disasters. We will hear more from maybe from Mr. Dormici about the Sendai the conference. So in closing, let me just repeat, in the coming decades, both strong mitigation and solid adaptation are absolutely critical to ensure that development can live up to its potential in a sustainable manner. Thank you so much.